My name is Teho Khailai, better known to you as Mapike underscore Mrs. G. I want to welcome you back to my little corner of YouTube. Those of you that have been on this journey with me know that on my little corner of YouTube, my main focus has been my motherhood reality, some lifestyle content, breaking out into some interests of mine, such as makeup, skincare, hair care, self care, really. And I have mentioned before, I've mentioned that I've like dropped it in here now and then, that we will delve into my life as a lawyer and introduce my lawyer's corner. So we're finally delving into my lawyer's corner, and I'm very excited, very nervous, but very excited. I'm choosing the excitement over anything else. We're delving into my lawyer's corner. In my lawyer's corner, I'm going to be taking my lawyer's corner on as an initiative to educate people, particularly women. I'm a woman for women. I'm not a woman not for men. That's not what I'm trying to say, but I am definitely a woman for women. And the aim is basically to educate people on their rights as much as we possibly can. One thing I do want to say, I was saying my disclaimer just now. My disclaimer is that I do not want the views that are shared on my lawyer's corner to be taken on the face of them as legal advice. I will always advise you to consult a lawyer, an attorney, if within the field of your particular matter, so that they can assess your matter on the merits and give you proper legal advice. Yes, you will have to pay for it, but you don't go to the doctor and ask them to pick their brain and they give you medicine. So in the same way, we will treat attorneys with the necessary respect that they require. Sorry about that. From time to time, we will also invite experts who are experts in various legal fields that will also give their nuggets in terms of what rights they'd like to advise you on. So a brief background and history on me so that you know where I'm coming from in terms of the subject matters I will be covering. So my legal career started 2014 when I did my articles at Legal Aid South Africa. Obviously, Legal Aid, I was doing a lot of criminal law. I did some civil as well, but my main focus was criminal law. I worked at Legal Aid from 2015 until 2014 until 2017. I got admitted as an attorney of the High Court of South Africa in 2015. So I have been an admitted attorney for about 8 years now. Initially, my main focus was criminal law, civil. I moved from legal aid and I went to private practice at someone else's legal practice. One day it will be my practice, but we keep the stars aligned. I joined a private practice and my main focus was the criminal law as well as the labor law. That's when I discovered a very deep love for labor law, but I've always been a litigant at heart. I am a litigating attorney. I don't like, okay, we'll get to that part. But anyway, I am a litigating attorney at heart. I left private practice and I joined corporate in 2018, where I've been since. So I've been in corporate for about 5 years now, just over 5 years. And my main focus is the labor relations as well as triple BEE compliance, right? My love is labor law, my love is criminal law, and those will be my main focuses when I delve into matters that have to do with my lawyer's corner. So basically and briefly, very briefly, employee rights. I'm a very big advocate for employee rights and employee rights not being tramped on. I don't like hearing stories about how employees get taken advantage of. I hate it. I'm a big noisemaker about it. Everybody who has interacted with me on a professional level since my main focus became labor law, knows. Oh, I didn't speak about my qualifications. That's not good. I graduated with my LLB as well as my postgraduate diploma in labor law from the University of Johannesburg. My aspirations are to do my master's in labor law. So we'll get to that as soon as that opens up itself in my life. Please don't mind me looking down from time to time. I do have notes on what I'm going to be discussing. I'm probably going to look at this from time to time, but I don't think, not so much in this episode, because today's episode is basically like an introduction into the lawyer's corner. Very, very briefly, let's talk employee rights. Very briefly and on the surface, the time will come where we'll delve more into employees' rights, right? Employees' rights are protected very firstly by the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, and various legislations that break off of what the Constitution has provided go deeper into employee rights, like the Labor Relations Act, the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, the Employment Equity Act, Occupational Health and Safety Act. Those are the pieces of legislations that have found their foundation in the Constitution, and therefore focus very much more in depth into the labor relations rights as they are required. But on the surface, employees have the rights that are protected in these pieces of legislation, and in a lot of instances where I have consulted employees who are employed in sectors such as domestic work, people that work in your homes, people that are working in your gardens, a lot of people don't know what rights they have. Obviously the scale is tipped a little bit, because in most instances you would expect that an employer knows more about their rights and has more access to things that educate them about their rights as compared to an employee who, say for instance, is a domestic worker. And my reassurance always is that you have just as much, if not more, rights. I do think that some labor relations and some criminal law is a little bit more tipped more in favor of the employee as opposed to the employer, right? But very much on the surface, employees have the right to be treated fairly by their employers. You have the right not to be dismissed unfairly or discriminated against. You have the right to be provided with appropriate resources and equipment to do your job. Say, for instance, you hire someone to work in your garden, right? You have the responsibility to provide the basic tools. Obviously, they would know what implements they prefer to work with, but you have the responsibility as their employer to provide them with the necessary and appropriate resources and tools to work in your garden. You employ a domestic worker. You need to provide them, for example, you're going to say to your domestic worker, you need to clean the kitchen. What do they need to clean the kitchen? Surely they need some bleach, they need domestos, they need handy Andy, whatever the case may be. So you need to provide those things, the resources for them to be working for you. Employees have the right to receive the agreed remuneration at the agreed date and time. Okay, this is very big. Employees who get deprived of their salary when they're supposed to receive their salary have the right to complain to the Department of Labor. And I am very vocal about advising people as such, right? Employees have the right not to be victimized. Obviously, the employer-employee relationship is a two-way street, right? And in most instances, it's relationships that involve human interaction. And it goes without saying that people will definitely rub each other the right way and the wrong way, right? But an employee has the right not to be victimized because of whatever issue that they may be bringing up to the employer. Remember, labor relations have their foundation in the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, and very basically, everyone is entitled to their human dignity. Anything that victimizes or discriminates against someone and infringes on that right to human dignity is obviously a violation and can be taken up in the relevant forums, right? So that's just my basic introduction to my Lawyer's Corner. We will be inviting experts on various topics of the law, other experts that speak labor law, other experts that teach you and I more about our rights. There's so much that we are going to delve into, and I really hope that you are a subscriber on my Lawyer's Corner, you're a subscriber on my little corner of YouTube, so that you don't miss anything. Click the bell button so that you don't miss anything. We're going to be delving deeper and deeper into various topics. There's topics that need to be unpacked. For example, unfair discrimination. There is discrimination that is fair. We'll need to talk about what that means, right? And things like occupational health and safety. What are the requirements for an employer in order to make sure that they are meeting their obligations in terms of health and safety for their employees? So there's quite a lot of topics that we're going to unpack. There's quite a lot of topics that we're going to discuss, and I'm really looking forward to growing my Lawyer's Corner with you. This was a very brief introduction, a very brief debut, so that you know which lawyer me is talking to you on these topics of law. And I want this to be a safe place. I want to stress that I do not know everything, and I'm a very teachable teacher, if that makes sense. Always willing to learn, so this is going to be a safe space for us to learn about the law and how it affects us as individuals in various areas of our lives. We will at some point, if we are lucky enough, to open up panels to have question and answers. If you want me to cover a specific topic, you know all my social media handles. You can leave me a comment on my YouTube. You can also send me a DM on my Instagram, that is @tshego_gailai. You can find me on Facebook. My Facebook page is Tshegofatso Gailai, Mrs. South Africa Semi-Finalist 2023, right? So feel free to leave me a comment, teach me where I am lacking, show me pointers where you need me to see the pointers. But this is going to be a safe space for us to all learn and grow, and teach each other about our rights as citizens of this country and more. Hopefully we'll learn about being citizens of the world and what our rights in terms of that cover. But for now, I just want to say thank you for joining my Lawyer's Corner. It was very good for me to have this debut and for you to look at and watch this debut with me as it unfolds. Looking forward to more. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button, and I'll see you next time.